Greetings, goddesses. Tried to get here as close to 8:15 as I can, or 9:15 Eastern time as I can. And here we are. Welcome. Come on in. Time for the goddesses to gather. Hey. Greetings. How are you? Take it all the way down. It warbles my voice. I'm Tirra, a.k.a. your goddess guru, your sister friend, and I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. This is the Inspired Goddess Morning Circle. We're going to share a little bit of wisdom. We're going to have a whole lot of connection. How are the goddesses? Welcome, welcome, welcome. To those who are live, I would love to hear from you. Don't forget, we love sharing our morning beverage. I'm drinking out of my gutsy mug this morning. We got to be gutsy. Come on, y'all. It's Aries season. Okay. Yeah, we're going to share a little bit about what's happening in astrology right now. And I did go to my Meridian Lagoon Oracle. This is out of the Ifa tradition that I'm a priestess of. And I was like, okay, let's do this reading, because I did the Sunday sermonette, and I was like, what else can I consult for the Sistars? It's all about getting that midweek wisdom dose to keep us moving, keep us grooving, keep us doing whatever it is that we need to do, showing up however we need to show up. So happy to see everyone here. How is everyone? Minister Eileen Sophia, Ocean Kimmy, Anke, Grand Rising. You just waking up. She's in a different time zone. Let's just say it's 2 hours earlier there. Grand Rising, how are you? Spiritual goddess Christina, welcome, queen. How are you? Keita May, Wealth Rising goddess, how are you? And TJ is here. How are you? Good to see you. So happy. I have a quote that I'm going to share. I might just pull it up, but I'm going to put it in the graphic. So yay, Tasha's here. Grand Rising G-Hive, hello to the great Mystic Storm. How are you? Oh, that's right. I think you're out there in the Pacific time zone too. Love it, love it, love it. So y'all, let's just come together. We're going to set intentions. I didn't get, hold on, let me get my candle. We're going to stitch in, but first let's just kind of allow ourselves to take a deep breath and tune into this now moment. And I want you just to take a moment to give thanks for something. I want you to give thanks for something simple, like I can breathe, I can think, I can move my body at will. What is it that you want to give thanks for? Just taking that deep breath. And right now we take that time to call in the energy of I'm calling in my guides, the ancient mothers. We call in our ancestral mothers of light. We send light and love to any dark, deceased energy, any dark energies hanging around us. You cannot stay. We send you on your way with light and love towards your healing. Just calling in our ancestors of light in general, the goddesses from time memorial, our guides, to sit here with us and give us counsel, give us a word, help us to understand what it is that we need to know today to continue on this path towards our destiny. We want to honor our Ores, our higher selves, for being our own personal deities, honoring the goddess within, honoring the goddess without. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. I don't know. I'm just really on Pele or Yah right now. Pele or Yah, Kalima, the chrome face of the goddess, just giving thanks to you, and just asking that you sit here and give us counsel. If somebody's coming in need of something, I'm just asking for a word that will help them to understand what it is that they need to know regarding this need, the next step, or just calling in an actual blessing for them. Calling in the energy of Herakahuti Ogun to surround us with our masculine ancestors. Guard the door while we women work our magic. May the only thing that happened today be for our highest and greatest good. And we say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Oh. And as we always do, well, maybe not always, but as we commonly do, we bring in the fire element by lighting our candle. And I ask you all if you would to just stitch in. Yeah, take that time to go on ahead and stitch in. I was going to put on a nice little song, but I don't actually know which one is super chill. So if you would stitch in, I will show you what that means. Just type in your name and one thing that you're stitching in with. You can stitch in with whatever feels most activated for you. This is a thing. Like, how do you really feel? So I am Tyra, and I have to be honest with you. I'm stitching in with a little bit of frustration. I'm stitching in with a little bit of sadness. Um, and because I'm human, I can have multiple feelings. I'm stitching in with happiness for being here. So what are you stitching in with today? What are you stitching in with today? I'm going to also show you all. I really wanted to lead a circle in my, here within Goddess Body Mind Spirit. And I just have had a rough month. I mean, this has not been the birthday month I would have planned for myself, but it's the one that I got. I'm in my stoic season. So I'm embracing. This is the one that I got. So I just haven't had the mental capacity or didn't feel motivated to actually do my circle. I looked at my calendar on Monday. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to have a circle. But you know what? You are not without a circle because I'm hosting a circle within my belly dance studio. The owner asked me if I would bring my circle back there. And so this one is really, I don't really bring an astrology into these circles, even though if you sign up and, you let me know that you signed up, I'll send you my new moon in Aries. It's an eclipse masterclass. You will get that automatically if you sign up for this. But it is still what I do for my circles. So it's all about invoking this energy around Aries, getting connected to our passion. And it's only $15. My thing is just I love doing circles. I would love to have y'all join. You can get the replay, or read out the replay, even though it's so much better if you show up live. But let me know if you do sign up because I won't automatically know that those of you from here signed up so that I can send you that Aries class. But I am so happy. I need the circle so much because my little spirit has been vexed all month, little over a month now. So join me, join me, join me in that. Okay, how do I take this out? There we go. Let's see who's here. I'm Christina, and I'm stitching in with gratitude and peace. Love it. I am Ocean Kimmy, and I am bringing in gratitude. Yes. TJ stitching in with immense gratitude and protective prospects. I love that. I love the gratitude. That's just beautiful. Greetings. Angry, fed up with life and everything in it. So I'm going to be quiet today. All is well, I guess. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you for sharing your truth. We do not have to be happy, go lucky, all the time. And I'm just sending you so much love. And yeah, I know for a fact Bliss is a Virgo. She's got a lot of Virgo energy. And so, people, some of the Virgos might be feeling a little bit challenged right now. Oh, she's also Pisces rising, I think, too. So hopefully what we share today will be supportive of you, Bliss. That's my hope. And if everybody would just send Bliss some love and don't feel obligated to say a whole lot. Not a problem. Mystic Storm stitching in with clarity and revision. Oh, I didn't put it in the description box. I'll put it there once I'm done because there is the link if you want to sign up for. It's not a class, it's a circle, just FYI. It's a circle. Okay, so I'm gonna go on ahead and start with the astrology. And I want to really focus today on this Neptune. I think that this Neptune is giving a run for the money. And one of my astrology teachers sent an email. And when I read that email, I was like, this is on point for me with this Neptune. And I just want to share it with you all. Some of you may be on her list, but I want to share it with you all because it was, in a way, striking for me. And it was very simple. It was very simple. Yes, okay. So let me add this here. Whew, my eyes have been so itchy here lately. Okay, so we're here at Wednesday. Mercury and Venus are retrograde. We're in the in between eclipses. So this eclipse energy building up to the new moon on Saturday is amplifying. Let's see. Oh, and then we have Neptune on the 29th degree of Pisces. It's been sitting there for at least a month. So we have Neptune on 29 degrees of Pisces. And that's the thing that I'm going to kind of hyper focus on today. So we'll get there. And then let's see here. Has Venus gone back yet? Mercury is okay. Tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow because we have Mercury and Venus about to go back into Pisces because they're between two signs. Okay, so do you know what's going on with you and Venus retrograde yet? Have you been able to figure it out? So again, Venus has to do with relationships, money. Now, I say relationships of all sorts. Yes, Venus is a planet that we associate with love. But to me, she's just relationships of all kinds. She's retrograde. We may be struggling in relationships. There'll be topics around money coming up with Venus. She has to do with self-worth and value and values. So for some people, some of your values topics might be coming up. And people underestimate the importance of values. So if you are doing something that is against your values, it will compromise you. As a matter of fact, it's almost difficult to go against your true values. So I think Venus retrograde is always a great time to be thinking about those kinds of things. Other things that might be coming up for you, when we talk about relationships, a lot of times I think about the word contracts and agreements because the relationships are a little bit of a contractual agreement between you and other people. And it could be between you and other things. So maybe it's something around contracts, something around agreements that is coming up for you. And I love looking at like, what are your contracts and agreements with yourself? Are you breaching your contract in the form of values, right? If you value something, you're going against it. That's a breach of contract. So I want y'all to really be thinking about that. I want you to think about your relationship with yourself. Some of the things that are coming up for me is struggles around like Venus and Mars. Venus and Aries, anything with Mars. It's like you're looking at yourself in relationship to other people. And I'm really struggling with that right now to a certain degree. So that might be something. It's like you're thinking about you and someone else or someone's else. And what you want, because Venus is balance and harmony, what you want to do is bring in that balance and that harmony. So where are you experiencing disharmony? Where are you experiencing imbalance? And it needs to be you want to get that thing together. You want it so it's not out of balance anymore. These are things you can be thinking about with this Venus retrograde. Um Venus retrograde. Oh, I mentioned money, all things around personal finances, personal income. For some people, it might be I need to do a better job of balancing my books. I need to spend less money. Some people actually are so their actual money problem is they won't spend money. Your clothes are raggedy, but they're not falling off of you, but you're not gonna spend any money, right? That's almost as bad as the people that spend so much money they don't have any money, right? Or you don't feel worthy to spend money on you. For some people, that might be the thing that you're dealing with the most with this Venus retrograde, okay? Venus is also uh invisible. She is in the process of being rebirthed. Um and so a lot of this is being internally done. I know I talked about this, but I want you to understand that what you're focused on right now in terms of Venusian topics is going to be something that is going to last for 8 years. You're in a new cycle. So you want to be thinking about these kinds of things and looking at what is the universe bringing up for you to, really focus on. Now, Venus in Aries is going to really have us focused on our appearance, our body, and some of it might be around exercise. I know that's something that I've just been like, you know, we just got to get this done. And the other day, I didn't even listen to the full podcast, but the lady was talking about building muscle. Her podcast is for people who are 50 plus. So building muscle when you get older in life. And I'm like, you know what? I don't do enough working on my muscles. It's been something that's been high on my mind. It's like, I got to get back to bar. So that's something that you could be thinking about. Let's see here. Venus is very creative and artsy. And so, especially, well, it doesn't really matter. Aries or Pisces, there's something creative maybe that you didn't fully birth and you need to. And this is going to be an 8-year cycle that you can use to really get this thing birthed. I think that with Neptune being on that 29th degree, Venus is about to meet Neptune again. This is going to be on the 29th degree. Mercury will be there. When is that? On the 29th. Mercury will be on the 29th degree with Neptune. And so there's a lot that is very etheric and spiritual and psychic. The dream space, I can imagine in the Sunday sermonette that I shared, the nightmare, night, one word night, and then the second word mare, this horse. So it's like things happening in the dreams. The veil is very, very thin right now. And so don't be surprised if you feel more tapped in and tuned in. Now, this email that I'm going to go over with y'all that I got from my friend Nick, talks about a lot of karmic stuff happening For me, it's really been like a huge wake up call. Um, I have had things revealed. Like, I think that's something else. Something might get revealed. I think this is revealing things to people because sometimes Neptune you can't see, but this is a time where you actually might be able to see some things that you just hadn't been able to see before. And I could tell y'all, I'll talk more privately about it another time, but there's somebody in my life who I just was like, somebody whose classes and stuff I used to take. I'm just like, I'm done. I have been freed. I am released from working with this person ever again. Connection cut just because some stuff got revealed. Um, it's very karmic. This is a time for a huge reset, whole new beginning. And in order for you to get that new beginning, you gotta be this is a time where sacrifice might be required. You might be required to make a sacrifice of some sort. And that sacrifice is letting go of that which does not work for you. You know it ain't working for you. It ain't never worked for you. For me, it's always been like a little bit of some don't feel right. The way I feel in dealing with this person, it just doesn't feel right. And most of the time I say I don't need proof to see somebody's evil or crazy. I don't need proof. But sometimes it's a little hard to release and let go. And I did get proof. I was like, okay, I got proof. Anywho, in order for me to go into the next phase, this is just what had to happen. This is how I see it. So it might be something long standing. This is not something new. It could be something inside of you. Like for me, I think it's and I'm just being honest. I'm talking about me today, y'all. I'm here for you and I'm here for me, okay? Cuz I'm working through some stuff. But it's kind of like where have I gone wrong on the inside of me that would allow me to get caught up in situations that ain't right? And it is maybe a little bit of piece of people pleasing, but there's this word loyalty for me. I'm very loyal. And it's like when I get into relationship with somebody, once I have made that decision, this is like a tried and true relationship. I'm all in. I got to give y'all a funny. I was talking to Craig about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I never really did understand your relationship." And I was like, you know, I'm sort of an all-in kind of person. Like once I really buy into something, I'm there. And I said, when you and I first started dating, people thought I was crazy because I would be at work, it was a little customer service job, like answering the phone or whatever. And I would be writing, I love Craig. I love Craig. I was like 23 or so, 22, 23. I said, did you know I did that? He was like, uh, no. Craig was like, "Why didn't you show me your full crazy?" I did show him a little bit of my crazy. He knew I was crazy. When I say I'm all in, I'm all in. That is it's like a blessing and a curse. Because if I tell you Imma show up on Wednesday, Imma show up on Wednesday. I've been showing up for Wednesday here for a long time. If when I teach fitness, this new lady was taking my class, she was like, "Well, I didn't know if you were gonna have class or not." I said, "Let me explain something to you. If I tell you Imma be here, Imma be here. If Tyra doesn't show up," this is what everybody used to say about my fitness class. "Tyra didn't show up, something's bad wrong. Something real wrong, because she don't just not show up." It can be a blessing and it can be a curse, right? So I've been having to look at that within myself. And now at this age, it's like I I don't have time to waste, and I don't have that. It's like the resilience is different once you go through menopause. It's certain things I cannot carry. I cannot carry stress in my body. I cannot carry really can't even carry resistance, too much tension, that kind of thing. So these are the kinds of things that we want to be thinking about. Mercury, Venus is about the relationships. Mercury is actually about relationships. Mercury is largely about interpersonal relationships. It's about the people who you're connected to, friends, siblings, cousins, coworkers, neighbors. Both of these planets are actually about relationships. Mercury might be a little bit, in some respects, a little bit less deep. Whereas Venus is like that person, that one-to-one type of relationship. But still, like I said, siblings, that's a deep relationship. That's what Mercury represents. But it is kind of like just a lot of connections. It's interpersonal relationships. It could be with multiple different groups of people. So relationships are probably up for a lot of people right now, all kinds of relationships. And Mercury retrograde has you looking at like, okay, like what is gonna stay and who is gonna go? So don't be surprised if you questioning people in your life right now, because this retrograde energy, where it's happening, it's kind of like what's gonna happen by the end of these 2 retrogrades is we're gonna show up and be like, it's a new sheriff in town. The way we've been doing things in our relationships, something's gonna change. We're doing something new. But we've got to get rid of the old. First of all, we've got to identify it, and then we've got to be willing to get rid of it. Because one of the things that I know is that people sometimes would prefer to stick with um the thing that they know isn't good for them, but they're comfortable with it, at least today, than to try something new, because new can feel dangerous, it can feel scary. And sometimes people just stick with the old. So these are the things that we want to be looking at and understanding in order for you to step into a new way of being and living and experiencing life, especially when it comes to relationships and friendships and all that kind of thing, is you've got to be willing to do something new, to be someone new. And some of these relationships, I want you to think about the law of vacuum. If you have something in a space, let's say I want you to just imagine that we have like 10 spaces for friends. So if all 10 spaces are taken up with 10 people who are our friends, there's no space for another friend to come in. In order to create space for something new to come in, you've got to give up at least one of those 10 friends or 10 relationships, right? And right now, it's kind of like which one is just not serving you. Now, you might need to give up the relationship that you have with yourself. We don't do any victim blaming. We're not blaming anybody for nothing. Radical responsibility is what it's all about. You are at first cause in your life. Nobody can do anything to you. And I know it can sound sort of harsh. I want y'all to remember I'm in my stoic season and I'm living this myself. But when you accept nobody can make me do anything, then it keeps you in the power position in your life. So I want y'all to be thinking about that. Are you your biggest issue? And what is it that you need to do different that will bring more happiness, joy, peace, self acceptance, self love, self compassion to yourself? Because I'm not asking you to beat up on yourself. I'm asking you to love yourself. Love yourself to the point where you are making choices that are in your best interest. Love yourself so much that you're going to choose you over other people, at least some of the time. We lay ourselves down for people way too much. Or if you are that person that only thinks about yourself, you're very selfish in a way where, it's a problem. Take care of it. It's going to open up space for you to have more of the relationships that you want, more happiness, joy, balance, harmony, all those kinds of things. Okay? Mercury is the mind. And so we're going to be able to reset our mind with this retrograde. And so it's kind of like, what are the new thoughts that we need to have? Well, once Mercury goes back into Pisces on the 29th, the question is, what are the old thoughts that are there? How can I care for my mind? Maybe there's a lot of conversations happening too. Lots and lots of conversations going on. Could even be a little bit of arguments happening. That's just how it is. It's Mercury retrograde. Mercury's been in Aries. It's about to go into Pisces. Pisces is about lies. Maybe it's a whole bunch of lies that are going to be coming up once Mercury goes back into Pisces. Now, we'll say Mercury is kind of like a lifestyle planet, so it kind of matches with the Venus self-care or how are you exercising. So, maybe Pisces is going to help. Mercury going back into Pisces is going to help us to be thinking about our lifestyle and what is it that we need to change, improve in our lifestyle. Mm, I do want y'all to take that time to be a little bit like, are there times when you're just kind of checked out, where you're just like laying and resting, especially with the energy in Pisces? I think that's very, very important right now, also. This is high creative energy. So even with Mercury, allow that creative energy to flow. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Mm. I'm going to go back to the comments. I'm Keita May, and I'm stitching in with gratitude, motherhood, and being the wild woman. I love it. Yeah, this is a wild woman time. This is the wild woman time. This Venus retrograde helped me cut out a specific vampire friendship. That's a good description. And I do not feel guilty about it anymore. I did for a minute, then was able to snap out of that guilt. Excellent. Excellent, Christina. Mm. Nice. Ironically enough, I've been discussing my core values and worth with my therapist. It's so important because if we're not living according to our values, if we're not aligned with our values, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff out here. We're compromising ourselves, essentially. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see all of the comments. I'm not going to bring them all up because it helps with kind of keeping the flow going. Yes. I don't know how old you are. You look so young to me. But to me, especially once we get into our 40s, less cardio is even better. Or just kind of like not super high intensity cardio, but definitely get those weights in there. Oh, thank you. I love y'all. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Whew. Okay, let's see here. I need to exercise. Yes. I'm looking at everybody's comments. Yeah, sometimes we do really have to. I remember when I recognized that my greatest relationship challenge with my husband was my relationship with myself. It was like something ain't right with you and you. And if you ain't right with you, you're not gonna be right with your husband. So yeah, that's a big one. I love this. Why do you show compassion to others but not yourself? It's important. It's hard to show compassion to other people. And is it like real if you're not able to give it to yourself? Love, love, love it. I love all of you all's comments. Wonderful. Okay, so Tomorrow, Venus will conjunct Neptune, which we are so close to feeling that, but it won't actually be full on until Venus goes into Pisces. So, even today, but I want to say easily through the rest of this month, it's going to feel extremely karmic. It's such a karmic time right now. So don't be surprised if things feel a little weird. I've also been hearing how tired people are. Everyone, well, not everyone, but so many people are just like, I can't get my eyes open, or, it's just this general energy of feeling extremely fatigued and tired. So I think it's something that is just going with the times. Um, so then, yeah, we get to this new moon, which is a solar eclipse. That's going to be on the 29th. It's going to be in Aries. And interestingly, if I remember correctly, it's going to be on the ninth degree. Yeah, the ninth degree of Aries. And yeah, so that is interesting because that's where Mercury began its retrograde. So degrees are points of intensity. And so the fact that Mercury started its retrograde at 9 degrees, Venus started her retrograde at 10 degrees. And so that eclipse happening at 9 degrees, it is for sure going to create new beginnings in a major way in the world, in individual lives, all the things that I've talked about with Venus and Mercury retrograde, or, the meaning of Venus and Mercury. Also in Aries, you know, we feel like we're living in dynamic times. I can't tell you how many times I've said, like, we are truly at a place in history where people are going to talk about this time. This is one for the books. This is one for the books. We are living history right now. And I'll say it this way. It is the next installment. We think 2020 was incredible. Well, 2025, every year since 2020, I've just been like, each year is just kind of like, don't sleep on me. I'm gonna bring it. But 2025 is I put it on 2020 level easily, easily. And this is one of those astrological events that is contributing to making this time very potent and powerful. So all I can say to you, first of all, that wild woman that Keita May mentioned, very important right now. And for whatever reason, I keep feeling connected to Pele, Oya, Kalima, the chrome face of the goddess. Connecting with that energy is very important because where you need a reset or reboot, it is on its way. And I would want you to make the choice, or at least give let the universe know what you want. Now, what you get sometimes with an eclipse is not necessarily what you want, but you will get what will keep you most aligned with your destiny. But at least give it something to think about, something that it can channel this energy into. That's what Aries is about, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. This is new reset type of energy. Where do you need it? I don't care what your sign is. Think about what you're calling into your life. All right. And on that same day, we're going to have Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And then Neptune moves into Aries on the 30th. Oh my God. These are some of the times when I'm like, do I really want to know astrology? Because then it makes me just think so much. So let me pull up something new. I want to share this email from my one of my astrology. I call her one of my astrology teachers and friends. um, Nick of Dark Pixie Astrology. And I just want to kind of read it and go through it because I thought this is to me is more about this Neptune and Venus and Mercury conjuncting Neptune on that 29th degree. It's incredible. So she's talking all about taking deep breaths. I cannot agree more. That is so important. Oh, Dark Pixie Astrology is where it's from. Um, so she said, had to start with that. Given the energy of this week, we'll all need to do our best to remember to breathe through it all. Venus and Mercury retrograde, currently in Aries, will move backwards into Pisces this week. And right after that, they both change signs and enter into Pisces. They will conjunct with Neptune. Once they get into Pisces, they conjunct with Neptune on that 29th degree. And it says here, for people who don't know, there are 30 degrees in every zodiac sign, and 29 degrees is the last degree. It's called the anaretic degree. And it's the degree where it's like chaos. It's the same as chaos. Okay. So we have this huge planet there that sometimes Neptune can be contributing to chaos because it's contributing to confusion. Okay. And then we're going to have two planets, boom, boom, Mercury and Venus, boom, boom, conjunct on that 29th degree. And the anaretic degree is like the planet is trying to maybe finish up the last little bit that it needs to do in the sign that it's in, and then get ready to jump over into a new sign. When a planet moves into a new sign, it's like it just changed clothes. It's like it became a whole new person. All right. So that's why we're going on and on and on about this. So it says the time of major activity can be a challenge when its transit or moving planets happen like this. It's even more challenging with retrograde planets and almost always triggers something significant. And that's just when they're traveling over this degree. It's even bigger when it's a transit aspect like this. And it's all the things that I said. Neptune, two retrograde planets, Neptune moving into a new sign is a big deal. Anyway, many of us may be experiencing an awakening or an enlightenment, and even if you don't see it now, it's going to come. Okay. You'll feel a shift. We're at an endpoint. This is the part that I thought, wow, this is so good. We're at an endpoint with 29 degrees Pisces, and this leads to the start point with 0 degrees Aries, the very first degree of the zodiac. Neptune moves to Aries and 0 degrees, and soon Saturn will as well. And the two conjunct, that means they're going to meet at 0 degrees in Aries. So it's time to end, to sweep out, to finalize, and to connect to our inner guide. One door closes, another opens. Though we may not see the open door right now, as we're too caught up in the ones that's closing, the open door can become apparent in time. Remember to breathe, to take care of yourself, and to be gentle in the interim. So I just wanted to share that because I thought that is perfect for this week. What she shared is exactly what is happening. I just kind of felt like she did a better job than me of writing it all up because I've been saying this, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Do we have anything else? Okay, so Neptune actually goes into Aries on next Sunday, or this upcoming Sunday, I should say. And yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna keep moving on. We'll talk about that more, even though we've sort of talked about it. And then things just kind of settle down. That's all we need. It's all we need, queens. It's all we need. So Mercury's gonna go direct on the 7th. I've been saying the 8th. So it goes direct on the 7th. And then Venus goes direct on the 12th. So we just got to get to those. And I think that I don't know why something just came up, window just popped up. And then I think that we'll kind of feel like we'll have to settle down, but it'll kind of feel like, okay, we're finally getting things going. Let's see here. What else did I say I was going to talk to y'all about? Oh, I want to talk about well, I'll tell you what, we're going to do this really quickly. I brought this up. I forgot about that. So in the astrology guide that I gave to y'all for 2025, I talk about the outer planets. And so I just wanted to share what I wrote about Neptune since it's about to move into a new sign. So we can see Neptune as the spiritual warrior. Its shift is going to bring a blend of spirituality and action. Neptune is all about dreams and intuition. Aries is bold and courageous. Together, they're asking us to take inspired action. So, what it means, this transit could bring a rise in spiritual activism. It's about aligning your actions with your higher purpose and fighting for what truly matters. I will say this is a time to, I think those of us who are healers and, we love teaching spirituality, sharing astrology, tarot, things like that. This is a very good transit for that. And by the same token, I think that it's going to be a lot of people who start following scammers. I think that people are searching, people feel a little bit empty. And, cult leaders and scammers, they're looking to fill the void. So I'm just asking you to trust yourself. If something doesn't seem right, it may not be right. One of the things that I've started doing is if I start finding myself feeling like, oh, I really like this person's like what they're writing. Or if I'm watching a video, wow, I like what they said, what they're talking about. First thing I do is see if I can find out any information about them. Who do they follow? What did they believe in? Who are their critics and what were they criticized for? Because sometimes you might see some work that's infamous, like Osho. For years, I thought Osho was so amazing. Osho is a straight up cult leader, or was straight up corrupt as all get out. But, I found Osho in the early 2000s. I didn't know that. But now, if I were to find an Osho, first thing I'm doing is I'm looking to see where is this person from, who trained them. It's one of the reasons I keep all my certifications. I'm showing y'all I've been through certifications. I have been studying under people who are experts. And they gave me this certification because I paid money, time, sweat, equity, did a lot of free stuff to get good at what I'm doing. So that I make sure if it's something I should do, I'll do it. It's within my scope. If it's not within my scope, I'm not gonna do it. Um, it's one of the reasons it's taken me a while to really feel comfortable about a.k.a. So remember, I need to send out a newsletter because if you want to be a part of the a.k.a., I'm gonna call it initiation. Um, you can sign up through my newsletter because I don't want just people walking off the street. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't like just dealing with any spiritual energy. I need to know a little bit about you, have a little bit of connection. Being on my newsletter is enough, or on my email newsletter is enough. But anywho, or even the spiritual, the priestess initiation, it's coming. I just had to get some stuff together. I don't like bringing people into my mess. Um, so just be looking for those scammers and the cult leaders, and do your best to try to help everybody stay out of these cults. On a personal level, where Aries is in your chart, you're being called to take a leap of faith. Trust your intuition, queen, and let it guide your steps. So for Neptune and Aries, I chose Durga. Ooh, Durga. Isn't she a wonderful? If you don't know Durga, she's very powerful. She's highly revered in the Hindu tradition. She fights for justice and protects the innocent. Durga's energy reminds us to stand firm in our convictions while staying connected to our spiritual core. So, yeah, that's what I have there. And then I said, oh, I was going to do the I want to share with you all an Odu. I keep I keep I keep choosing this Odu. And maybe it is just about me. Maybe I'm choosing this Odu just about me. But I did ask for an Odu for the ladies who would either watch live or via the replay. So Odu is the wisdom from Nigeria. And I use the Meridine Lagoon, which was birthed by the goddess Oshun. I like to make sure I mention these things because I'm on a crusade to make sure we raise up the divine feminine and stop making it like we women haven't made a significant contribution, or our stuff is just kind of played down. So this spiritual divination tool was created by Oshun, or brought to us by Oshun. So Erosu has to do with Eshu, Shango, and the Egun. So Eshu Alegua is the same energy as Mercury. So isn't that interesting? That's interesting. Eshu and Mercury, and what we have going on right now with Mercury going retrograde. Eshu. So I want to just tell y'all, Eshu is the messenger. So I want y'all to really open yourselves up to receiving messages over this next week. Okay. Shango would be the same energy as the sun. And we know the sun right now is in Aries. So Aries is about being courageous. So I'm just gonna ask, where do you need to be courageous in your life? Where do you need to take action? Or maybe, it's some type of action, but it's not new, because Aries is a lot of times new action. But maybe there is something that you need to act on that's unfinished, is incomplete. And also, Erosun is the energy of the Agun. Agun is the ancestors. Touche. With all this energy happening in Pisces, we are bound to be hearing messages from the ancestors, thinking about our ancestors, working with our ancestors coming to us in our dreams or something like that. I actually had a dream like this a few nights ago. I don't know if it was my grandfather on my father's side or his relative, but I know it was a relative on that side, came to me in a dream and was talking to me about, it's like some land or some property that we have that we may not know about. Now, I didn't know if, for me, when I interpret my dreams, sometimes when it's a message like that, it's that ancestor wants me to remember that dream. Because if it was a he, if he had just showed up, I may not remember. But because it was like a message, and he just kept really driving home, there's a piece of land that belongs to y'all. That's largely what made me remember it. So open yourself up to hearing from your ancestors, working with your ancestors. Send your ancestors love and light. Within the EFI tradition, one of the things that we love to talk about is, when we send our ancestors, if nobody calls your name, then you didn't do something right. That's having bad EY Pele. EY Pele stands for good character within this tradition. And that is like one of the supreme things. There's not a whole lot in this tradition that is the same from one Ile to the next. Ile is like the body. It's sort of like a church or a temple. From one Ile to the next is done differently. But there's a few things that are across the board. And one is EY Pele, good character. That is what you're striving for. That is like the ultimate in life. And so if you do not have good character and nobody calls your name, then you're not able to escape the will of reincarnation. When we pour our libations, we say, Eriku Iyawa, Eriku Babawa. And it's to escape the wheel of reincarnation. And so, um, if you don't have somebody call your name, something is wrong. So it's important for us to call our ancestors' name. You want to send light and love to the ancestors who are dark deceased. You don't have to call their names, but you can send them light and love and send them healing and send them on their way. Always send your dark deceased light and love. Send them healing energy and send them on their way. And then all the other ancestors, perfection is not required. You don't have to be great and grand, but you need to have done something for other people in the world. And you need to have been able to find a way to move past those character flaws that get you in trouble. Okay? So when we support our Agun, essentially we're supporting ourselves, number one. But you want to make that practice because we know some of our ancestors, they need some help. And so this might be one of those times to pick up that practice of making sure we're working with our ancestors, calling their names so that, you know, their souls can continue to evolve and eventually escape the wheel of reincarnation. So make sure you work with your ancestors. This so do says doing so helps you maintain a sense of balance and perspective with the universe. With Erosoon, tell me what this means for you over this next week. Cautious behavior is indicated. Each step is critical. So taking things step by step ensures safe passage and blessings. And I would say that's really important because Aries will make you just be very impulsive. And Pisces, you're not paying attention to anything. So we got a little bit of a dichotomy here going on. So, I've been creating it's like I'm creating a course for the a.k.a. initiation that I'm going to take people through. And a thought came to me that I never had before, and that is Ifa and the practice of this tradition is like the ultimate in a mindfulness practice. And that's what I want to offer to you this week. Be mindful day by day, moment by moment. And it might take what is it that you can do to get yourself grounded? Nick said take some deep breaths. What is it that you need to do to get grounded? And that will help you to pay attention to step by step by step so that you can have safe passage and blessings. Oh, it also says careful reflection is needed as you move forward. Remain true to form. When you feel like things are not going your way, you may even feel people or your environment are betraying you. You have to remain true to form, be your true self. And what I recommend, what I connect that to is that values that I was talking about. Are you connected to your values? Are you living your values? Expansion and growth are indicated. So how can you expand? How can you grow? How can you operate from more wisdom? I love the little not the little, but I love the Stoic philosophy as I study it. I can't even quote most of anything because I'm so new to it. But a lot of it makes me stop and think about, okay, this thing that I'm about to do. Yeah, like why am I going to do it? What are the implications of it? And how much of am I doing it from a place of being courageous and expanded and, operating from wisdom? That's how I would describe this. Again, I guess I'm going to add in here because I have a little description that I like to use for these Odu. Be mindful, be intentional in everything that you do over this next week. Logic and common sense should be one's traveling companion on the journey. And that doesn't mean we're not going to feel tranced out because we will. A little bit ungrounded because we will. Highly intuitive, magic, all this kind of stuff could be coming up over this next week. and you wanna make sure you tap into logic and common sense also. I do liken this, a little bit to the energy of Saturn. It has a little bit of a Saturnian feel, and that issue, Mercury feel too. I'm gonna give it that because Mercury is logic, you know? Oh, I had said I was gonna look at this book. Let me see, did anybody say anything? Mhm. I just scrolling, I just saw Ocean Kimmy say, "I'm almost out of bed." I know it's early there, sis, and you've been working too. Mhm. Yeah, I have even taken the YouTube. That's one sacrifice I've made. I've taken the YouTube app off my phone, and I'm forcing myself to, because I had just gotten into a bad habit with YouTube. So I, read or listen to, an audiobook. Libro.fm is a good option if you wanna get off Audible. And does anyone is it Libby? Libby? There's a Libby app that works with the library, I think, too. If somebody knows that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll look it up and have it next time. But I do kind of find a little bit on YouTube, I'm like, I'm struggling a little bit on YouTube. It's because people are trying to do things where YouTube will help their channel. There's a lot of advice out there. And that's why I just turned off all ads. I was like, I'm done. First of all, the ads, I'm not making no money from ads. I don't know if I just don't have the right content or what. I hope that when y'all watch the replay, let me know. Do you see mid-roll ads? Opted out of that this week, but a lot of people are really working with the algorithm. They're kind of trying to do things because this is what people are telling us to do, but I thought I'm struggling with YouTube right now. I gotta do something different, have my mind thinking a different way, uh, you know, just audio, more podcasts maybe also, but, you when you go onto something like iTunes podcast, what is it called? Apple Podcasts or whatever. It's not an algorithm that makes you addicted to stay there. And so I just the algorithms. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. You're so hilarious. Okay, TJ says moksha mantra for Shiva to escape reincarnation. I have not heard of that. Maybe I know the mantra, I just don't know it by name, but I love that. Yeah, beautiful. This is hilarious. Where the toad is like, winter is beautiful, but the bed is better. I don't know if you saw this, TJ, but in the Sunday sermonette, well, not saw it, but heard it because there was nothing to watch. But the toad was one of the cards I pulled this week. So it's interesting that you're bringing that up. Ocean Kimmy, I don't remember everybody's astrology. I don't look at people's charts without your permission. So just know. And I work with her long term. So I know her moon is in Pisces. If you got Pisces energy, baby, that sleep is no joke. So the Libby app connects you to local libraries. So that's another thing that we can use. I know not everybody may care about these kinds of things, but it's a value of mine. Is I'm a little bit of an anti-capitalist and want to fight with dollars and get people as much as they can off of Amazon. So that was my little way of making my contribution. Mm-mm. Okay, good. You did notice that. Okay, good, good, good. Let me see. Also, is there anything here? Because I was like, Eero soon keeps coming up. Eero soon keeps coming up. So, um, Oh, the book that I'm looking at is called Awo, the Ifa concept of divination. And I just saw something where I'm like, maybe I'll do this, but I need to see, what does it say? Okay. Anywho, here we go. I said I was going to pull up Irosun and see is there anything else. So I'll just kind of tell y'all what this book says. Like I said, Awo Falakun wrote the book. Irosun is known as the sounding Osun. In Ifa cosmology, Osun is the Orisha that protects the Ori of an Awo or diviner. The head is the place where the consciousness stores memory. So, in a sense, Osun is protecting our perception and understanding of the past. Erosun is the fixed reality of that which already occurred. There's a lot of errors in this book, typos. In Yoruba culture, there is tremendous emphasis on acknowledging the wisdom of the past, that which we are built upon the shoulders of those who come before us. So that's the ancestral part. Erosun speaks of the need to respect the ancestors as a way of preserving our memory of their achievements so we can recognize their contribution to our own consciousness. So, right now, a practice that I want to do is to take a moment to honor the memory of your ancestors' achievements so that you can recognize their contribution to your own consciousness. Whoo, this is good. I'm coming up with stuff for my little. Definitely want to honor my mother. For her achievements, she overcame losing her mom. I think my mom was about four, 4 or 5, maybe, when her mom died. In southern Mississippi, and I'm gonna ask y'all to type yours in. I'm gonna ask you to type yours in. And I would like to share this publicly. But anywho, she went on, she was an activist. She even went to jail as an activist in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Um, she married my dad, went on to become an LPN nurse, and she was so good at what she did, she was almost treated like an RN. And she raised 3 beautiful children. She was one of the classiest, most graceful women I have ever met. And she was just so loving. She was the kind of mom who my friends would say, I wish your mom was my mom. And I never said that about anybody else's mom. Never. Because I had the best mom. And so all of that has made a contribution to my life. I've been a very intentional mom, and I've not always been the most graceful person, but as I mature, I feel like I'm more like my mom. And I'll never be as classy as my mom just because my mom dressed way better than me, and it's just not my thing. um, but I can be as full of grace as she is. She was graceful to me. My mother-in-law was graceful to me, and I do my best to offer grace to other people. So I would love to hear. Thank you. When I got up today to get my candle, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so not dressed well. I just kind of fell into the seat this morning. I'm not going to lie. I did manage to get on lipstick though. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. So I would love to hear from you all. Or, if you don't share, maybe if you're in the replay, I would like for you to take that time out to do what this Odu is saying. preserve their memory of their achievements, preserve our memory of their achievements so that we can recognize their contribution to our own consciousness. And maybe you need to adopt an ancestor. Maybe there's somebody who's not your blood ancestor, but you're going to see them as an ancestor and you can honor them in this way. Through this process, we can become inspired to find our own place of respect and accomplishment in the world. Those who accept this challenge become revered ancestors of the future. I told y'all, when you're a revered ancestor, you can come back and help the ones who are still here. The ancestors who are not revered, they're checking out and they might even be dark deceased. They don't get to come back and help. You know, that council of ancestors that you have surrounding you, those are the ones who were busy helping people while they were here. So they get to do it from the other side. I want to be the one that people, when I go to the other side, folks wake up. I had a dream about my ancestor, Tirra. I want to be that ancestor. I want to be that ancestor who, you know, just is like, yeah, I know I could do anything on this side that I want to, but I'm here for the ones who are still there. In the Hindu tradition, it's this. Now, I'm not saying this is what I am, but it kind of reminds me of it because I'm not putting myself on this level. Bodhisattva. Think about goddess Kuan Yin. The Bodhisattva um, is an enlightened being who does not need to reincarnate. They have escaped the wheel of reincarnation. But they said that Kuan Yin could hear the cries, the suffering of the people who were still here. And she decided to come back to help relieve the suffering of those who are here. I want to be that ancestor where I'm like, I'm here to help them because I know this is why the ancestors are so important because they say, I know what it's like to be in that physical realm. I know the trappings of the physical realm. And so I want to be here to support them. I want to be that ancestor. But in order for me to do that, baby, I got to be doing some stuff here on earth. Um, so yes, okay. I have a grandmother from my birth family who I never met, who I honor, and she had a rough life. She was a ghetto mama granny who took care of the neighborhood. And we say, Moji ba to your grandmother. Oh, love that. Thank you for sharing that, TJ. I'm so happy to honor your ghetto mama granny who took care of the neighborhood. Right. I'm so glad you said that, Tyra. All your ancestors are not guides. Some of them need to evolve. And part of the evolution, I say being here is a gift, but it's a little bit of it's like if you don't really know, it could, it could be some challenging stuff happening here. So you got to come back. That's why we're all here. Not to say we were not good, but the ones that aren't evolved, they for sure got to come back. Because karma is all about kind of like, ooh, something's undone, something's unfinished, something's not complete, right? So we got to come back and complete it. Is one of the reasons I show up and do this spiritual work. I was running from it. I was like, I don't know. Am I going to be witch hunted? It's not accepted in the world. I come from a family that's very, very Christian. And to be anything from that, am I going to be outcast? I'm going to be 100 with y'all. One of the things I'm kind of coming into the realization of with all of this energy happening is in a way, there's actually not as much connection as I feel like there was in a way. So I'm kind of like, I may as well be who I'm going to be. I may as well come here and do what I'm going to do. If I get excommunicated, it's okay. If I get excommunicated by anybody, only people I don't really want to be excommunicated by, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to be excommunicated by my husband or my children. And they know me fully. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not long ago because I lost my mama long time ago. In 5 years, I remember being challenging. It wasn't always easy with her and my grandmother, but I love and honor my mommy so much. I know what I want and what I don't want because of her. That is so beautiful. Oh, Christina, thank you. Moji ba, mama and granny. Moji ba, mama. What a way to honor your mother and remember the impact that she has made on your life. We honor her with you. Thank you. Yes, it's the gifts of learning and trials. Ashe, oh, I refuse to be here selfishly. I'm gonna be that bomb ass ancestor. I know you are. I know you are, Ocean Kimmy. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. That shunning is real. Yeah. I remember learning, people talk about no, is it not the Quakers. Who is this other group? Okay. I got to get my mind slowed down. Who am I talking about? Amish. There we go. I used to see the Amish and think, there's, how there's this veneer of they're just so pious and everything. And I'm not saying every Amish is not that, but yeah, the Amish, that's a really jacked up group. I spent last year studying cults. And I was like, one of the things that they do when they want to punish you is they shun you. You already in a community where you can't just leave and go be with other people. If you do something that they think is wrong, and of course there's a lot of disempowerment. The women don't have a lot of power in these groups. They will shun you. And this one guy talked about how his dad got shunned so bad. Like, I don't even know if his dad was even able to get back into this group. It broke his dad, and the problem that the dad was having was mental health. But they're Amish. So there was nobody to go to help this man with his mental health challenge. And he ended up getting shunned. And yeah, it broke him. It broke him. Shunning is no joke. I think they do it in some other traditions too. If you're part of a group where they use shunning to control folks, that's a group that you like. I want you to do like this and talk about them like a dog as you walk out the door. Like, shunning ain't right. That's why I'm out of here. Boom, close the door behind you because they're gonna shun you. They're gonna shun you real good when you do that. That is one of the worst things you could do to a person. Natasha's here. How are you, Queen? Y'all better get ready. Y'all better get ready. These cults. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. My family neighborhood was very cult-like, and I didn't find out until way later. Man, maybe that's something that we'll learn a little bit together here. Maybe that's something we can kind of look at. What's the latest cult thing? I'm trying to think, have I noticed anything in the spiritual space? Because a lot of times, some of the cult-like stuff I see is more with the main. I don't want to call them mainstream, but the ones that are more well known. Like Christianity is full of cults. Um, I'm sorry, no, no disrespect meant, but Islam, I used to think was so. You hear about the praying 5 times a day and stuff. After watching some of these people who escaped Islam and learning about how violent it is, man, learning about cults has made me very clear. Being a part of a real religion is just, mm, I mean, I'm initiated in the E5, but it's very loose. It's very loose. It's very, very loose. And even the group that I was connected to, it's like done. Don't want nothing to do with it. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to. Oh, I'll tell y'all what. What is his name? Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is one I think is a good one to beware of. Let me see here. Who who was in the what's the name of this movie? What time is it? Oh, okay. Uh oh, Joe Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza. I first saw Dr. Joe Dispenza in What the Bleep Do We Know? Let me see if I can pull up an image of him. Tell me, I'm sure y'all know Dr. Joe Dispenza. And What the Bleep Do We Know? Like, his energy was so powerful and so profound. And I remember at some point, I just was kind of like, I don't know. I was telling somebody one of the blessings that I have that has kept me, even though sometimes I feel a little cult adjacent, I always kind of avert the cult. And some of it is because I'm like, no disrespect. What are these white people in here doing? This is crazy. I ain't following this crazy white man. um, I remember also from The Secret, there was a man in there. I can't remember his name, but their energy in those movies was just so powerful. And it was like, oh, it just moved me. But at some point, I was just like, something ain't right. And I just drop off. I'll just drop off all of it. It's like when I don't feel it, I'm done. And I have recently been hearing about Dr. Joe Dispenza. People quote him all the time. People read his books. They participate in his program. And I remember looking at something that talked about how this person's mom um, refused medical, like had some type of medical condition and refused the treatment in lieu to do what Dr. Dispenza said do with his, whatever, I don't know, technique or whatever, his tools. And that person's family loved one died. And I think it's multiple stories out there. When I hear people talking about spirituality like I do it, this is one of the first ones to come up. Cult like. If I used to love going to chiropractic. I probably will go back one day. I stopped going, once the pandemic happened. But the chiropractors turned guru in some way. Another one, Dr. Eric Berg. I used to recommend him all the time. Big time Scientologist. Y'all wanna That's what I'm telling y'all. I was questioning my whole life. It's like, how have I chosen to listen to people and just be all into them and only to find out it's something bad wrong with these people. This guy's Eric Berg is a big time Scientologist. And I knew something was wrong with him because he had a beef actually with Dr. Oz, which made me like him more because I don't like Dr. Oz. But I remember whatever this video was that he made where he was talking about Dr. Oz, and I don't know what it was with him and Dr. Oz. I don't even remember. It's so many years ago. Um, I was like, he's a little bit scrappy. Like he was kind of petty with it. I should have known then. But it just seemed sort of like somebody who was like, I'm just not gonna take nobody's stuff, right? But yeah, Dr. Eric Berg, big time. He's a chiropractic turned whatever he is, and He's not spiritual, but, he is in the health field. That's another thing. You gotta watch all the people who act like they know so much in this health field. But, yeah, Dispenza is a chiropractor. They really starting to kinda make me like, I hate that the AMA screwed things up for y'all, but y'all kinda proving them right with some of this stuff. Stick with your field. Don't call yourself doctor if you not being a doctor of what you are supposed to be a doctor of. Now you can talk about the fact that you are a chiropractor who does this, and maybe you want to use that doctor, but it's misleading people. So, yeah. What's what's NC? Non-committed? Yeah. Spiritual bypassing is very cult-like, and the whole love and light stuff is becoming very militaristic. 100, because what they're trying to do is to disconnect. What did the Odu say, Sistars? Logic and common sense should be one's traveling companion. And with all the love and light, what they're trying to get us to do is to disengage our inner logic, our inner common sense. That's what they're trying to get us to do. All right. Ah, yes, Ifa is very fluid because it reflects the culture. It just reflects the culture that it was birthed out of. And that is a culture where, pre-colonization, it just wasn't anything canonized, and they didn't all have to think the same way. It was more intuitive. But there is a piece to EFI right now where it's more modernized, and people will tell you there's a certain way that you're supposed to do things. And I do believe that there are certain ways to do things within the tradition. If you're taught traditional EFI, I believe that there are ways to do it. And I respect that. I don't tell anybody don't do traditional EFI. Um, as a matter of fact, in creating this initiation, I sort of like the more traditional things to do because they make you more mindful. It's like you got to be super intentional as you do whatever the ritual is or whatever it is that you're working, or I never could figure out that EFI calendar. I tried. I used to buy the calendar, and it's like 4 days or whatever. If we had an 8-day week, 4 days would make sense, but I'm like, a week lasts for 4 days. Plus, I just don't hang out with people who use that calendar. Even though the person who created it tried to teach us, I was just like, it's not working for me. But if you're following some of the more traditional ways of EFI, they can help to make you more mindful. Where I draw the line is when people are like, no, it must be done this way. You ain't really doing EFI if you're not doing it this way. It's impossible to really say that about EFI because it was practiced in so many different ways. And everyone, it was like a more of a reflection of the family. So there are the things within EFI that I think are they like I said, Iwa Pele is one of them. But not all people worked with every Orisha. At least this is what I've been told. We do Eleke ceremonies here because it reflects Ifa for us here in the West. They don't do Eleke. I'm not putting down what we do here in the West. That's just how I feel. I don't care if they do things one way in Africa and we do things differently here, because Ifa is designed to fit the community that it serves. And for whatever reason, Santeria, Candomblé, and Lukumi, they did the Eleke ceremony. And those of us here in the US, a lot of us do the Eleke ceremonies. But that's the beauty of E5. That's why it's fluid. That's why it's for the joy of missing out. Ah, Dispenza. It was a disappointment, but yeah, he's out for me. He's out for me. That's the best way to do it. Don't worship them. Don't don't worship them. Mhm. Not no contact. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's becoming really clear to me that if it's rigid, it's a no-go for me. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is great that we're talking about this because I think it's just going to become more and more prominent. And the biggest thing that I think we need to remember is nobody can replace you as your own guru. Some people can help us get in touch with our inner guru, but there's no one who's going to save you but you. You are the person that you most need to look up to. And anyone who you put above you is they're bound to have some type of power that they don't deserve over your life. Woo, I'm talking to myself. Wow. Woo. Okay. I'm going to pull from the African Goddess Rising deck before we get off. Don't put nobody on a pedestal. If you're going to put somebody on a pedestal, put yourself up on a pedestal and then hold yourself up to high standards. But yeah. There's this guy I like to listen to. His name is Cam James. And there was this guy, maybe his name is Melvin. I don't know. I just remember seeing him and he's talking about money. And I was like, oh, a black man talking about finances. And as I listened to him, I was like, something don't seem right. Then Cam made the video. That man was mad. He was in the comments of the video that Cam put out about him. I was like, oh, Cam, you done woke the sleeping giant. Oh, let's see here. I'm gonna pull another one. I like the one that I pulled. I do like that one. I do like that one. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull one more. There's a word. Where's Mystic? Mystic know this thing be giving me a hard time. It's not even tarot. Okay. I like these. So I love this one, Tituba. We know she was actually the first witch that was taken into custody in the Salem witch trials. This is all about feeling safe. Tituba. Let's see what she has to say. So for the next week, it says the great ancestress Tituba was an enslaved woman who was the first person accused in the 1692 Salem witch trials. She was most likely kidnapped from the Guyana region in South America and then sold through a Barbados plantation. And this is what she has to say to you. It's finally safe to be you. I needed this. You have wandered through a dark night. Your trip has been long. There is light ahead. Your liberation is apparent. And look at the last card I pulled. I pulled the liberation card. It's some liberation that we're going to get this week, y'all. Working with all of this energy. How are you being liberated this week? You deserve to feel secure. Feeling safe is knowing that your basic needs are met. Feeling home in your body. Trusting your journey. Feeling safe is feeling free around those you love. Feeling safe is trusting that the sun will rise again. If you grew up emotionally, spiritually, or physically unsafe, reset your default expectations to a healthier vibration. And sometimes in order to do that, it's like I need to be open to being safe. Like this is what I'm calling into my life. I'm calling safety because sometimes it's hard to feel safe when you've not felt safe for so long, or you've been in an unsafe situation. Then it's just like I'm only available to feeling safe. I'm only available to being in a safe place, being around safe people. And you just keep saying it over and over and over. And then you have to actually take those steps to step into safety. So the goddess declaration is I am safe. It is safe to be safe. Yes. Oh, Guyana. Awesome. Venus may be in retrograde, but she's got her ears to the ground with us. I love that. Yes, I love that. What did I say that your therapist says something similar? Was it the last thing I said about don't put people on a pedestal? Exactly. Exactly. They really will. They really will. And that's why, to a certain degree, I just think to myself, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be authentically who I am and continue to let women know I'm here about empowerment. My job is to support you and you feeling strong inside of yourself. Full stop, period. Okay. I think this is a good one. I think this is a good one. It's about shame. Long Bubby Susie. She is out of Trinidad, Tobago, the Caribbean, I guess you could say too. Oh, Garifuna, Belize. Excuse me. Garifuna, Belize. So it says the long Bubby Susie keeps the children of Belize terrified. Viewed as a shadow monster, she has the power to kill or nurture with her long, scary breast that contain milk and poison. This Afro-Indigenous spirit may be a distortion of the Arawak Taino moon goddess Atabi. She says this, you are beautiful and loved. Every part of you and your journey is beautiful, even the ugliest moments. You have a heart, soul, and breath that makes you beautiful. And you're secretly scared that you are not enough. Shame is lying to you. So that's the thing. What part of our shadow work do we need to do this week? What part of our shadow work do we need to do this week? You are not broken, unlovable, ugly, or unworthy. Shame keeps you small and hiding. Accept yourself now. You are a bright light. Allow yourself to see who you really are. You are doing the very best you can. You are lovable and you are complete. And her goddess declaration is, I am protected. And I think that too, the more we do that, we can step into this Tatuba. Whether she's a witch or not, I encourage you to step into your inner witch, into your inner wise woman, into that part of yourself that knows how to work magic and invoke it in your life. I think about the spells and spell casting. Maybe one of the things we need to do is make sure we're not casting negative spells on ourselves. And maybe we'll notice that a little bit this week. Maybe with this new moon, we can set intentions that we will only, any spell casting we do over ourselves will be something that is favorable, empowering. What are other words that y'all want to use? Abundant. What are you spell casting into your life? Okay. So the last one I pulled is Queen Mother Nanny, who stands for liberation. I pulled another one last night. That's why I had to look at it because I pulled last night Queen Ya Sante Wa. What did I pull that for? Queen Ya Sante Wa. I don't know what I pulled it for. Anywho, Queen Mother Nanny out of Jamaica. Jamaica. Now she was her and Tatuba were actual people. So Queen Mother Nanny of the Maroons was a spiritual leader, military strategist, and revolutionary. All this is kind of a little Aries-esque, isn't it? This Ashanti healer was brought to Jamaica in chains and escaped to lead rebellions. Nanny helped to free over 800 enslaved people. And this is what she says: break free. Your dreams hold the power and keys to your liberation. You are freedom herself. Rise up. You deserve to feel free. What do you imagine for yourself? Now, that is Neptune. What are you imagining for yourself over this next week, y'all? Daring to manifest your dreams is part of personal liberation. Find your own personal liberation codes in your soul's unspoken desires. So, what's a desire you haven't spoken? No one talks about those unspoken desires. Speak them. Life is too short to live within someone else's story. Divine blessings and magic are on your side. Enjoying your freedom fully is the best gift to your ancestors. So, we've been talking about ancestors. So, this week, how can you be free as you offer that up to a gift to your ancestors? Goddess declaration: my dreams empower me. My dreams empower me. Okay, I feel complete now. I feel complete. Thank y'all so much for being here. Oh, I left up a comment. I didn't realize I had left it up. Let's see here. They turned my Wi-Fi off and they turned my phone off this AM already. Like, man, look, I'm over here like Trey and Boys in the Hood right now. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bliss. Oh, awesome. Yes, sit with Obatala. Obatala will give you that cool head, that wisdom, and it'll help you to understand what you need to do. I love that. That's really good. Hi, Jasmina. How are you? Good to see you, Queen. Success. Awesome. Yeah. Y'all, that was a good reading. That was a good reading. I feel like it matches so much of what we've talked about today. So the last little bit that I'm hearing to tell y'all is Aries is a little bit of a selfish sign. Doesn't mean Aries are selfish, but the actual energy of Aries is self-centered. And I have been studying more about the heroine's journey. And I said, well, I need to just study the person who kind of inspired the book. And it's all about, like, for me, working with the archetypes is becoming more and more of like, this is something I think I can get down with and share with people. And I see the goddesses as archetypes. And I want you to see yourself as the hero, the heroine of your own story. And as you go about your week, we just want to think about, say, for instance, today, Bliss is letting us know she's struggling. And it's like, how can you, in moments of struggle and stress and trial, how can you show up as that heroine in your own story? Neptune in Aries is an opportunity for us to realize we are the ultimate archetype of our lives. But I do believe in leaning into the archetypes. And it's kind of like, which archetype do you need to work with this week? Look, we got Durga, she came up, Kalima, Pele, um, Oya, who else? Queen Mother Nanny, Long Bubby Susie, Tatuba. Like, we have so many options for archetypes that we can use. Maybe use tarot or something like that. And then pull a card. Which archetype are you working with that would help you be the heroine and recognize yourself as the heroine of your own life story? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I kinda get along with Aries as a Scorpio rising. Oh, I love that. I am woman, hear me roar. I love that. I keep seeing birds intentionally flying across me. I think birds are so spiritual. I think they are so spiritual. Yes, they're all archetypes. Use them for your personal development. Exactly. And we want to understand that they're all within us, but they're really designed. This is Aries. Aries wants to be a hero. Aries is one of is like the main hero in the astro wheel. And Neptune is going there. What's Neptune? It's like a story. It's mythology. And so I want y'all to be thinking about your story is one that will be told by the ancestors. We talked about, our ancestors. I talked about my mom. Christina talked about her mom. TJ talked about her granny. They are actually archetypes for us. This is one of the reasons it's so important to study the ancestors and to remember, talk about the things that they did that help us in our own lives, the good things that they did that's going to help us in our lives. They essentially become the archetypes that help us to develop our own personal mythology that will someday be a story for others to tell. And so with that, be courageous. Be that wild woman that Keita May mentioned earlier. How are you going to be free this year, this week? Does Queen Mother Nanny look like she cares? She doesn't care. She's like, I'm going to do what I need to do. This right here. Right here. Okay? Need you to show up and be courageous in the way that you need to be courageous. Something I did. Whoo, I said I got to share about this circle that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I just want to remind y'all. Move, Dr. Joe. What are you doing, Joe Dispenza? Get off my screen. I don't have nothing against them personally. Um, this circle right here. I was very clear with or read. I need people to know who I am and what I'm about. And so I included a little blurb down here. Goddess, priestess. What else? I think that was the part that when I had to post this on my Facebook, my personal profile, I was like, I can't believe I still deal with this to this day. But guess who posted it? I just don't care. I had to be courageous and continue to just be like, you know what? Tatuba made it. I'll make it. But I would ask if y'all would just, consider joining me in the circle if you are free on that day. I would love to have you. My circles are nourishing, they're fun, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I do not like Aries men. I dated too many. Seems like you have a lot of Libra. I'm sure they gave you a run for the money. Tarot and Oracle, great spiritual tools to develop intuition, trust, growth. That's how I use them. I can only speak for myself. Oh, that's great. That's a great share. Queen Mother Nanny reminds me of my biological grandmother and my adoptive grandma on my dad's side. She was called Nanny. Oh, now I see why you describe the other grandma that way, because you have your biological family and you have your adoptive family. Got you. Okay. I didn't know my bio grandmother, but my adoptive grandmother was very kind to me growing up. That is awesome, TJ. It's none like a good grandma. It's none like a good grandma. Ain't that right, Ocean Kimmy? Okay, queens. Thank y'all so, so much for being here. I appreciate you. May the blessings of the mothers and the ancestors be upon you now and always. Be upon you and yours now and always. I'm wishing you all an amazing next week. I want y'all to just, be with yourself. Doesn't matter. We're not doing the light and love spiritual bypass stuff. But we are gonna be here for it. We're gonna be here for ourselves. We're gonna be here for our lives. So with that, I'm gonna turn on a little music. Let's see. I think this is one of the little Afro sounding songs. Oh. Thank you, Christina. What are you stitching out with, ladies? I am stitching out with clarity. Yeah, I'm stitching out with clarity. I have so much clarity today. I'm gonna have to go back and watch a lot of what we talked about in this. So thank y'all so much. Clarity and gratitude. What are you stitching out with? Hi, Jamaica. Have a great day at work. Thank you, Kita May. Love it. Ashe. Oh. Thank you. Wishing you all the best, Bliss. Great mother and the ancestors happy. Ashe. Oh, Felicia. Looking out with assurance. Peace out. You and me both, sister.